You've lived 1,000 dreams you can't unlive, dreamed 1,000 dreams you can't undream, and died so many times that eventually you won't come back. I was born at the bottom of the ocean, but I have always been drowning. My lungs are made for the air, they deny me the air, I deny me. It's safe down here, after all, and the darkness never bothered me. But I wonder what it's like to live, to do more than just survive, and I barely survive when each day is a new fatal wound, and I have always been dying. There's rain falling softly on the roof of the Miller parking. I live here. I'm safe now. They can't take that away from me, but I'm still drowning, and I'm still dying. The bells are still tolling, and I want out, but there's nowhere else to go. This next one is called Wishing Well. My curiosity has always been stronger than my need to cause trouble. My parents would offer me information in exchange for good behavior. My father bought me biographies and books about ancient Egypt if I agreed to be nice to my mother. I've always been searching for something. I don't know what it is. I lie awake at night listening to the distant echoes of something I've forgotten. A man's voice I can't quite make out. I know that's voice. This infection in my mind, he is the source of all this. I feel only the vague shadows of dreams, nightmares that continue even after I wake. I can trace its path through my life. This thing I'm chasing, this nameless, ever-present sadness, sensation of loss, the kind of thing bitten back, the kind of thing I can't even begin to talk about. But it hangs over me all the same, like a heavy, oversized coat in summer. I'm sorry about the exorcism, my mother said, as we sat with an ashtray between us drinking glasses of wine. It was the first time I'd seen her in 3 years. She continued, but there are some things children just can't know about. I wonder what I would have wished for the day I learned about wishing, had I known how things would turn out. I often think of the nurse who told me she'd seen a lot of dead people, reassuring me that I was alive. And wonder how closely she really looked at me. Because all I see in the mirror is a corpse fresh from the icebox. You might think I'm being dramatic, but I had to wear makeup to my first job because the bright blue worms in my skin wriggled under the fluorescent lights and scared small children. Do you know how hard it is to find the right shade of foundation when you're a severely pale teenage boy who doesn't know shit about makeup? It's pretty fucking hard. I thought I'd done a pretty good job of hiding it though, until one time I had a little boy come up to me with his mother and ask, "Mommy, why is that boy wearing makeup?" And the mom's face instantly turned bright red as she looked back and forth at me and her child before finally saying, "Why don't you leave this nice young man alone?" It was like she expected me to explain it to him. As though I would know how to talk to children. Hell, I don't think I ever even was a kid. Like whoever was in this body before died at age 13 and I was just some ghost wandering around. And now I'm possessing a steadily decaying carcass that I can't find my way out of, even though I want so badly to move on. But for me, there never was a white light. It was just nothing. Just this vast, endless void that drove me fucking insane, so I get up every morning, assess the damage, sew my limbs back on. God, this fucking mess. This isn't even a poem. This is like the rant I would go on to my therapist if I had a therapist. Yikes, right? This guy doesn't have a therapist. Well, don't worry. You're not in any danger. Unless you're about to drop dead right now, I might swoop in there and take your body because I'm so sick of this one. The kid that I shoved out is always back there screaming at me, and I hurt so much all the time, and it's not worth the effort, really, looking like this. Christ. I don't even remember that nurse's name. It's okay, because she doesn't remember mine, but she's still in all of my nightmares. And I've written 2 poems about her in the last 7 years. She saw a 15-year-old kid sobbing hysterically into a bathroom sink, and thought she could make everything better by telling me she didn't think I looked dead. But the more I think about it, the more I think she knew exactly what I was.
That was awesome. Thank you. All right, we're gonna move along quickly. So our next artist is Katie Pritchett. I've known her for a long time. I love her. She's amazing. Katie Pritchett, everybody. We're going to change the lineup a little bit, and we'll give her time. And so our next poet is going to be, I had her in my head. Just Alyssa. No, Muse of Idle Stars. I got it. Muse of Idle Stars. Alyssa. All right.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to poetry. All right. This one's called When Last We Parted. When last we parted, we said spiteful language to cover up the damage. We pointed and threw words as if they were arrows formed in verse. And when you left, I turned to myth to understand the reasons why I would never sacrifice myself for this love. Cupid pricked his finger when he was poised to kill his beloved in her sleep, but my fingers remained clean. Juliet drove the dagger home after she awoke to find the poison fresh on his lips. But I did not turn the dagger on myself to soften the pain of your parting. Rapunzel bled on the sewing needle, and her lover fell into his blindness down on the treacherous thorns. But I did not blind myself to save your face. Venus mourned the loss of her son and promised vengeance on the beauty who stole him away from her. But I did not curse another to prove our love prevailed. The mermaid bled on the sea and became foam when pressed toward the ill murder of her beloved, but I never could eradicate myself to protect you. And I'm sorry I couldn't be there when you needed me. I did not resurrect my part in this myth. I did not play the lover well enough. I did not hold you close and promise you fantasy despite your pain. I did not sacrifice myself to the sea. I did not poison myself in your name. I did not climb an insurmountable tower. I did not practice bravery or myth or legend, but I did listen once. Next one is called If You Had Said Hello, and it's from a collection of poetry that I just published, self-published actually. And I find myself contemplating the distance, or rather closeness, between hellos and goodbyes. And that's what partially inspired this poem. If you had said hello the day of, you would have shared old photographs. You'd fly me out to New York and we'd reminisce over the past with coffee and bagels. My phone would be attached to my hip perpetually, and there would be no dreams of fall and a quarantine spring. There would be no masks or illness. There would be no lies or soft sighs hidden behind hands to disguise. If you had said hello, your name would be starred in my phone contacts. You'd share music playlists to me directly and compliment me on my poetry. We'd go dancing like recluses, spiders on the wall. We'd be the talk of the ball. All eyes would be on us and say, who are they? Brooklyn baby and New York queen, fabulous fashion on the cinema screen. We'd leave New York and move to some brighter, less lonely city with a bird's eye view of the beach. We'd be like F. Scott and Zelda, artists, muses, remove the toxic. We'd write and travel and write and travel, and I wouldn't dream about you. You wouldn't be a ghost on the phone with 3 dots on my screen, the reply which never came, bated breath, morning, elementary, and May. Leave her alone. If you had said hello, we never would have had to say goodbye hello, because I would reply just once and say, hello, you're mine. It's called, If You're Reading This, You Have One Day. We don't carve our names into trees anymore for the sake of memory. We remain on the surface in Sharpie to glimmer in half lives, To know our permanence exists in impermanence, impenetrable to the core, to say we will not form rings in centuries or leave our love rough on the bark, to prove our love forms an everlasting legacy, to say we are not hewed from the wood but coalesce in the flock's homing motion. We will always return home. We are seamless and soft, an effortless echo, a seasonal witness. We are smooth. Stickers on surfaces glossy like untarnished memories kept in silver, never to concrete and cast us as complete, scattered like leaves. With time, postcards decay and then pennies fade into their short-lived shortages as trees bear these memories of sap, sticky and sweet, and we are completely unaware. We are smooth one day, never carved, never chiseled, and then we are simply gone. This one's called Tangled Jewish Memories. Tangled Jewish Memories. The rabbi sniffed the wrong grape juice, so I drank the wine instead. I was mortified. I waited to write this poem until I entangled my grandmother's gold necklace with her Hebrew name. I wore it today, and it made me think of you and traditions and heritage and shame in Arizona at the sight of declaring I am Jewish. Here's my Star of David. Anxious at the thought of shame, at the thought of a golden star on arms, at decimation and eradication and excommunication, words, symbols. To speak is to be shunned. To be befriended is to be converted. My Jewish friend, that's your people. He said to the one Jewish girl in our class after a lecture on the Holocaust. To how I kept my mouth shut, did not declare my heritage for shame of excommunication, teasing, swastika on my Seder book, New York. Anxious, anxious, anxious. To be forced, to be cited in film reels. My grandfather, a medic driver, did not want to bring children into the world after witnessing such travesties. Bodies, old, hair, mass, matter. Unspeakable silence, silence, tangled Jewish memories displaced, nodded. I sought the golden root and put the necklace on. Will I live up to her name and fill her petite frame? The mothers wore a scrutinizing look at the bris. Did I deserve her name on my neck in gold letters? I thought I felt anxious when my grandmother's name touched my chest, but really I felt an urge to speak about heritage, about hiding in basements, about Amet, and about all the jokes told in 8th grade about you and me. Do you even see me tangled in these Jewish memories about how I could be one thing and simultaneously be another? Is it unlawful to sage a necklace and purify this heritage? Is it unlawful to want to see this through with you? Or will I place my hand over my heart and cover up my Jewish name again? Thank you. And the last poem I want to share with you is a poem that a dear friend of mine actually read to me recently, and I thought it was interesting to hear words take on a new meaning in someone else's voice and how we can recirculate meaning and find new meaning in words. So this one's called Witness. Cast in herself, she witnesses the glow of her ancestors who touched her cheeks and flew by the light of her desire. She knows they are ancient, rooted, untold, but felt in her bracing footsteps. She has scars, constellations on her cheeks, and planets that touch her eyes. She wonders at all manner of unfolding, in being the guardian of her heart, in being the tree with intertwined roots, in being the vulnerable verse, in being the daring sun, and being conscious moons, in being herself, and in being in relation to others. She sees herself in the mirror, but she sees the cosmos in another sight. A hesitant frown, a curious laugh, a clutching of hands, a quiet embrace, the kind that transcends words and time. You see, she encompasses her soul, but her experience of being is in your brief passing, in your humble gesture, in leaves of grass set to grow into time, in your reservations, in your dispossessions, in weeds, dandelions, all humble living matter, in the ones who made her smile and later made her cry, and the lesson she took to the clock. She meditates on these winged blessings. She knows they are from her and for her. Every season was a point of unknowing that created her resolution. A a map, a being of the footsteps that preceded and came much later. She's all this, every color of every day of creation and every tear that transports your eye. And in this way, she will meet you in the mirror of yourself when you embrace the arrival of your being. Awaken and unfold. This is the lesson of your life. Thank you.
That was Alyssa Goldsmith, everyone. And up next is Katie Pritchett.
Women shouldn't be criticized for sagging breasts when balls exist. That's something I scrolled by. It kind of blew my mind. I mean, yeah, I guess it is kind of wild that women are expected to have perky tits and perfect skin, and men have hairy skin and zits and sag in some places, wear what they want and never moisturize their faces, and talk shit about girls that don't have smooth legs and porno pussies. And no, I'm not gonna say some men, because some men should know better than to whine and complain. Call me a man-hater and mansplain that not all men act like this. Because if you're not admonished every day for how you walk, talk, dress, age, and gain weight, it's not your place to be this sensitive. And then I read the comments. Always a mistake. Reply at anti_feminist_God. 1. Your comment is confusing. Based on your poorly spelled slurs directed at me, I gather that you're homophobic. Yet your ballsack commentary reveals a certain reverie for the male anatomy. 2. The underscores are a lot, so I'm just going to call you anti-feminist God. Anti-feminist God, why do you have so much data to spew about the functionality and beauty of low-hanging fruit? Surely you don't wish women had ballsacks instead of boobs. There we go. There's an image. See, I was afraid to get into this because the visual is, well, imagine it. Sexy young woman with ball sacks for tits. Is this what you prefer? Let's face it, dude. Ball sacks are not beauty pageant queens. We do not lace them up like shoes, powder them, slip them into... We do not lace them up like shoes, powder them, stuff them into baby blue corsets, or photograph them for the cover of magazines. We do not pay for surgery to make them perkier. At least, not here. Maybe in LA. Even if I were a heterosexual woman, do you think I'd be walking around all day thinking, wow, I just can't wait to get home and see my boyfriend Jimmy's ball sack? Little fact, 98% of women are non-lesbians. Women who love men. And I know, I speak for all of them when I say women may be in love with you, anti-feminist God, but they are not in love with your ball sack. They do not fantasize in the morning about your ball sack. They do not watch porn to stare at the bouncing ball sacks. Your ball sack does not make it onto their top 10 lists of favorite things about you. Not even top 20. I'm not talking shit. This is actually great for you. You're free to be judged by your personality, intellect, humor. Testicles are not the first thing women notice about you. You come first. Fully clothed, hopefully. Tempting little dangly things tucked away until called upon. Convenient, packaged. Hopefully in a pair of nice, tasteful, clean boxer briefs. This is the longest I've ever thought or written about ball sacks. I would rather have talked about literally anything else. Now that I have your attention, I have not performed in a very long time, so I'm very nervous. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. My name is Katie. I am a retired slam poet. No, I still go to the slam, but, or I would. I'm scheduled Tuesdays. It's on Tuesdays. Otherwise, I'm just available to do events like this. Sometimes. Okay. Hello, hello. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna sing a song. If you know it, you can sing it with me. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I am the only faggot I know that reads the Bible to fall asleep at night. I don't know what to do with all this damn religion. If you put a Bible outside your house, it'll show up on the street corner. I'm looking forward to not feeling guilty about not praying before dinner. Or, for we know in part, we prophesy in part, when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. When I was a child, I spoke like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up my childish ways. I got creepy shit running through my head sometimes. Memorized prayers to a God I don't even want to believe in. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. All of sin falls short of the glory of God. I'm scared to have a Bible in my house, scared not to have a Bible in my house. Scared of Jesus and scared somehow of the demons. In my church, we were taught God's name had meaning. It cast away demons. Thou shalt not say the Lord's name in vain. I still capitalize God in a text message. I still capitalize God, G-O-D, keep it out of any sentence with damn or fucking. Still think I can keep my mouth holy. After all this time. Sometimes I still get adult ache when I think about church on a Sunday morning. I miss the singing, the sermon, rejoicing. I didn't leave church because I wanted to. I left church because eventually I couldn't walk into that building without bursting into tears. I want to believe that heaven hears my prayers. I am a sinner. I see it in the eyes of every preacher. Acceptance, they have to preface with a speech, is not really acceptance. I still love Jesus. I know some people can't accept this. How could I not? I've known him since I was little, since before I can remember. Every morning we would jump on Grandma's bed, she would say, "Good morning, chickadees," and she would read the Bible to us. In the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was God. I remember how her blue-veined hands looked next to my tiny fingers. I remember the linoleum floors, metal bleachers that held all of that believing. I remember the hymns, her voices waking up to the sun on Sunday mornings. I remember Sunday mornings she would read the Bible to us, and she would say, "Good morning, chickadees." I remember being a chickadee. I remember being a doily, braided 6-year-old in my homemade dress, all curtsy and Mr. and Mrs. This is what I believe in. We're brainwashed with the message that we have a choice, when really we're programmed from birth to believe things. Remember when we thought that anyone who didn't think and look like us didn't have Jesus? I've seen God all over the world. In dim-lit campfires, on idolatrous kitchen walls, and booze-stained bars, and all the other parts we never would have called holy. How can you claim to see the Holy Spirit when you can't even see the darkness around you? Nice to meet you. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Remember when we thought our light could be put out? Like we were a single candle flame and had to tiptoe so gently? Apparently this was the flame that could burn the whole building down. We're surrounded by churches, still can't find a place to worship, still can't find voices loud enough to drown it all out. I'm just going to read a couple more poems and then I'll be on my way. I'm so dried up and fucking mad. Oh, wait. Sorry. I'm so nervous. Like, I don't know, I'm so nervous. I really haven't read in so long, so I'm really nervous. I like to do this thing when I read like shorter poems, because I don't like to read the titles, because I feel like it kind of breaks things up a lot. So I like to, instead of reading the titles, like have people clap. So we can practice that. So when I'm done with a poem, I'll go like this. I'm just kidding. So I'll go like this. Yeah, that'd be awesome. All right. Okay. I'm so dried up and fucking mad. Yeah, I'm fucking mad. In the moments of clarity, I'm fighting to grasp a fleeting notion like bricks piling up on my head. Love will have you washed up and doing weird things. scrambling through the bins, imagining the shirt you wear matters. It's delicate, isn't it? The fifth match you flick, hold your breath and lower to the sticks. Those piled ash discarded in the pit of your hunger and an embarrassment of hands in uncontrolled motion. And after all of that, flame catches wind and how little it asks. Heat, pursed lips, some pages or dead leaves crushed, few muffled sentences half heard, agony you must love because you keep coming back. Keep your eyes on her. Arms and legs peel away, there's a warm place in there somewhere. But you'd have to burn to get there. And what is that? Irredeemably lost, floating balloon strings, all the bonds dropped in an instant. And in that terrible moment, I was too heart-numb for searching, so something found me. I prefer impossibility. Lock me away and tell me later about the key. I'm really tired of answers and problems solved and questions so automatic and heartless, like everyone is on autopilot nailing their landings. After a while, responses aren't even really needed. You would be shocked. It hurts to say something obvious enough times. You'll see. Let them sit in discomfort. Make them sorry they asked at all. Or even catch their emergency lights blink on. It's funny. More likely you won't catch anything at all. More likely they'll fill in their own blanks, already planned to the end of the conversation because they plan every single thing. And really, you should see if anyone is listening before you speak. I'm a room temperature cup of water. Apricot cheek laid out to dry. Don't pretend to know what I'm thinking. There's a happy medium somewhere between boring and the absolute mundane, routine, machine clicking. I'm high-powered too. Rarely need to be maintained. I could chew on machine brain equations, pitter-patter, boop-de-boop. She hated me for it too. And her hatred was the most flattering thing. I think about it often. Still, it's a crap accolade. I would have accepted praise, credit, or even just more to do. I'm adjusted to abuse. I just can't handle being bored. I am just too used to wiping these tables. And maybe I'm out of juice to try hard again. Starting over is terribly embarrassing. And like the man said, everything is reps at this point. I, too, am convinced that most work is labor, and I am replaceable. Now more than ever, that I'm committed to never being present. You can have my body, but you can't have my smile, my deference. I am as juicy as a lemon, somewhere else, waiting on a check so that I can go there later. Suddenly I'm reminded of something someone once compared to plunging a toilet, and how disgusting and blank that sounded, keeping the pipes clear, and how do things get that bad? I know. All the want you pour catches up and leaves you in a hard place where you can't take anything back. Your ice-cold water on tap. What could go wrong? Squeaky handle and a reasonable request for temperature control. What else am I failing to deliver? On the nozzle hose with the faucet running, it's only a matter of stopping the flow at the source. I don't want to be a magnet anymore. I don't want to slide around a fridge door, hold down numbers or lists or anything to be remembered. I don't even want to be clasped by anonymous fingers emphatically slammed on the wall, thrilling metallic link between mind and matter. I liked being magnetic until I met you. I always believed I could unravel a whole room if I tried. So I squeezed my eyes and summoned an electric fury, an avalanche of motion, screens bursting. Still, you didn't come. It didn't seem fair, but nothing does. And again, I don't want to be a magnet anymore. I want to be anything else. A radio playing your favorite song. A camera shuttered. A volume button turned up. A picture on the wall. A doorknob for you to touch. A string for you to strum. A pencil for you to draw. A washing machine. Anything to be needed. An umbrella for you to hold. Hoodie strings for you to pull. A cloud leaking rain on the days you're tired of sun. I only know how to be me. And I guess I feel a little bit stuck. All right, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much.
Katie Pritchett, everyone. So inside, in a couple minutes, we will have Doll performing experimental synth music. And outside in the courtyard, for a while, we will have Ugly They singing jazz music and on the piano.